Hey you guys, I'm Diamond. Welcome back to my channel. This is my August reading wrap up. I read 13 books in August, which brings me to 100 books I read so far this year. And I'm a little late with this video, like it's already September 17th. So I kind of want to wrap this up. Okay, the first book I read in August is called Untouchable, and this is a dark high school romance. The first few chapters of the book are triggering, so beware of that. It starts off with Zoe being assaulted in school by a classmate, and then like the next day she's hiding out at home, and then he comes over to her house basically telling her mom that they're together. So you're like, he's crazy, 100% he assaulted her, he needs to go to jail that day. Then like the next few days in school he's like pursuing her, and at first she's like resisting, but then she kind of gives into it like over time, and then they like start dating for real, and she's consenting now, so it's like mixed feelings about the whole situation. And then it's like a whole bunch of high school drama on top of that. And then like as you're reading, you're like, wow, he's really crazy and she's crazy for going with it too. So you don't know like what to really think about this book. This is what I was thinking. I was like, I had so many mixed feelings about this book, because at first I'm like, wow, he needs to like go to jail, rot in jail, he's disgusting. But then on the other hand, she's like doing it with him now, so you're like, what to do? Don't know. But and the guy who did it, his name is Carter, and he, like I said, he's crazy. One, for what he did. Two, he's like a psychopath, because he's like actively pursuing her. Like, he doesn't think he did anything wrong. I don't know. Like, he was pushy, manipulative, and he honestly did everything he could think of to get her. And like, even if it was dirty, he did it, and it worked. I'll say that. Like, he was like using her friends. He tricked one of her friends to come to a party, and so he had to end up saving her. And then he like vandalized one of her other friends' car, and he also stole a dog. So crazy stuff like that. And then like, to make things right with Zoe, he planted drugs into his ex-girlfriend's locker and got her in trouble. So there was that. So real sociopath behavior. But then you're like, I don't want to defend him because what he did was wrong, but he's also been through some stuff. Like, he was also assaulted at like 13. That resulted in a kid. And that was just a lot. They both went, I don't even know. This was a lot. I have so many mixed feelings about this book. Because it's like, ooh. Like, I was so against him until she said what she said. And what she said was like, what did she say? She was like, she basically like was allowing him to force himself on her. Like, she told him, I would rather you force me than to be with someone else. So then, like, all my disgust for him, like, went towards both of them, because then you're like, wow, they're both into that weird R-word fantasy, so, okay, that's their thing. And what else? I would say she started off strong, like, as a character. Like, I generally liked her at first, but then her, like, her back kept bending towards him. Like, I don't know, that backbone kept bending, and she fell in love. That's all I could say. This book is, like, so hard to explain because it's really a lot. But I'm going to give it 3 stars. I'm taking this book for what it is. It's not the best book. It's not the worst book. And even though I was disgusted, like, reading a book, her saying what she said kind of changed everything for me, because now I know, like, that's their thing. They're into that. So who am I to judge? It's 3 stars. The next book I read is called Unravel Me, and this is the 3rd book of that series. It's a hockey romance, a single mom romance, insta love, and found family. Those are the tropes, and it's about Adam and Rosie. Adam's the famous hockey player, and Rosie is the single mom who's in, like, vet school, something like that. And they meet when, like, his dog, like, ran her over, something like that. Can't really remember the small details, but they met through their dogs, I'll say that. So yeah, and then he's, like, so into her because she doesn't know who he is, and he keeps that a secret, and then that blows up in his face when she finds out. But this book was okay. I liked it, but I didn't love it like I did. I liked the first book the best. But, yeah, I wasn't really into the whole insta love thing, and she was, like, she was a horrible mother. I'm sorry to say this, but, like, the father of the child was, like, the father was horrible, and she kept, like, leaving the child with him. That's not a good parent. No. Like, her baby father needed to, if I'm being honest, like, he was so horrible. I don't understand how you can call yourself a good mother and leave your child with that kind of parent. Like, she was so stupid for doing that, and that's all I'm gonna say on that. But, yeah, I wasn't a big fan of the insta love thing, and he jumped into the stepfather role, like, so fast. It was funny how fast he jumped into that, but I don't know. It was a happy ever after ending. 3 stars. Okay, the next book I read is called Love Theoretically. No. Love Theoretically. Yeah, Love Theoretically by Allie Hazelwood. And I love this book so much. Like, people say she's writing the same books in different fonts, but I do not care. I be eating it up. Like, I really love this book. This is a STEM romance. Academic rivals to lovers. It was so good. It's about Elsie. She's a professor who's struggling with money, and she gets a chance to interview for this position. And, like, the guy who's, like, doing the interview is, like, her nemesis, Jack, who, like, wrote this article trashing, like, the type of science she does, something like that. And it was just so good. So not only is he her nemesis, he's also the brother of the guy she's fake dating for money. So more drama. I loved it. I loved that whole situation so much because it was just so different. And I love the chemistry between them. Like, oh, I just loved them. And then, like, the chemistry, the banter, and what he does for her at the end, like, basically denouncing his previous article that that basically trashed the type of science she does. I don't know. I can't explain it. It was so sweet, so cute. Like, he fell really hard for her. He fell first and real hard for her. And that's like my favorite thing, when a boy falls first and hard. So, the plot was interesting. I love the characters. I'm really liking the whole science love books that Allie Hazelwood does. And let's see. What else I would say about this book? It was just so cute. Like, I highlighted a lot. Like he said, cute things are like, let me find it. He was like, that's not how love works, but don't worry, for now I'll show you. I was like, aw. It was just so sweet like that. Like, I want a Jack so bad. Like, if he says the cutest stuff like that, he's a keeper. I gave this book 4 stars. The next book I read is called Done and Dusted, and this is a cowboy romance, a small town romance, and brother's best friend romance. And like last month, I said I was in my cowboy era, and I really am because I love this cowboy book I just read. Like, this book was so good, and it surprised me because I was like, wow, I'm really into this whole cowboy romance thing. So, it's about Emmy who returns to her hometown. She's a horse rider. Yeah, horse rider. That's her job. And after an accident, she's like scared to get back on a horse again until her brother's best friend starts helping her. And his name is Luke. He's the bad boy slash cowboy slash brother's best friend. So he's always around, and like he knows her family knows him, stuff like that. Like, I don't know. Like, the way he helped her was so sweet, and I don't know, he was just perfect, honestly. He helped her with her fears, like I said. They had awesome chemistry. The tension was, mwah. Like, why weren't y'all together earlier? Like, that's just how it was. Like, ooh, I can't really explain it, but it was so cute and spicy. And when a brother found out about them, like, the way he found out was crazy, because I was like, she didn't even have to do that. Like, but like, you could tell she wasn't thinking about the brother. She just like ran straight to Luke, the best friend, and then boom, all hell broke loose. But like I said, this book was so cute. 4 stars. The next book I read is called Morally Corrupt, and it's a mafia romance. And let's see, I had high expectations for this book because I thought it was going to be like a certain way, because like it was about a sociopath. So I was thinking it was going to be something else, but then it kind of like let me down like as I was reading it, because I was like, not really into this. So it's about a sociopath slash assassin named Brianna, who's obsessed with her husband, who's a police officer, and his name is Theo. And like I said, I was disappointed because I expected more. I wanted more like craziness from her. Like, don't get me wrong, she was crazy, but like he found out too quickly about her in the book. Like, they should have let her be crazy without him knowing for a little longer. I will say that. Like, it had so much potential. But it was also like all over the place because, like I said, he found about her secret quickly, and so he's on his whole high horse thing. But then you find out he's not totally innocent either, and he is pretending to be someone he's not. So, like, how dare he? So he was a whiny hypocrite. Like, he had crazy secrets too. Like, that's also up there with her. They both did some crazy stuff. And so, yeah. Like I said, he's a whiny hypocrite. And I really did like Brianna, though. Like, she was crazy. I wanted, like, crazier, though. And she was also funny, too. Like, when she found out about his past, she was like, oh my gosh, this is great. Now we could be killers together. Something like that. She said that. She said we could kill together and be happy. So that part was funny, but overall, I don't know. I just wanted more craziness, more sociopath from her. Like, tie him up, make him stay with you, stuff like that. But that might be a little too crazy. I don't know. But yeah, I just wasn't into this book like that, so I give this 2 stars. The next book I read is called Out on a Limb, and I really love this book, and the title is just perfect. It's accidental / surprise pregnancy / roommate trope, and this book was surprising because it honestly was like one of the healthiest relationships I've read about. Like, it confused my toxic love story brain, honestly, because they were just so perfect, and No, not toxic. So that was different. So it's about Win, who she has an underdeveloped hand, and this guy named Bo who doesn't have a leg. So that's why it's going out on a limb. Okay, but yeah, they met at a Halloween party. They hook up. It's one night stand, and then boom, she's pregnant. And then he steps up and he's like, okay, like move in with me. Like they're roommates now. And then their connection just grows over time, and it's just so beautiful, so healthy, so different. Their banter was amazing. I like that they made little jokes about their like missing limbs, especially her. She makes a lot of jokes. I love that. And the communication, they had such good communication. I don't know, it was just everything about them was just, it was perfect. It was a little too perfect. That's why I was like skeptical, waiting for the other shoe to drop, but that didn't happen. It was really perfect. Like, I loved all the characters in the book. I loved the storyline. I really couldn't complain about this book. It was just really lovely, and I liked the disability representation. So, 4.5 stars. The next book I read is called Baby Moon or Bust, and it's another accidental surprise pregnancy / opposites attract. Like, I don't know why I read 2 accidental pregnancies back to back. That's different. I don't know. Okay, so this book is about Tessie. Yeah, Tessie, not Tessa. Tessie, who is an interior designer, and what's the guy's name? Solomon. Yeah, she has a one night stand with Solomon, and surprise, surprise, she gets pregnant. And then he ends up finding out because she's a celebrity designer and she was on TV, and he saw the baby bump. And so he went to go find her, and then he ends up crashing her baby moon, so that they could like talk about it and get to know each other. And this book was okay. Like it wasn't like the last accident pregnancy I read. That was amazing. Like it was just okay because I wasn't really in love with either of the main characters or even the side characters, and I really disliked 2 of the side characters. Like, one of his sisters, horrible, and then his friend, horrible. Yeah. What else did I like? Oh, she like gave up her like lifestyle too quickly for him. Like after she quit her job, she was like, "Oh yeah, I'll go to Alaska with you." Yeah, they're in Alaska. He's in Alaska, so like she didn't fight to stay in LA. So I didn't really like that. I also predicted the conflict. That was like real predictable, and I don't know. What else? I think I would have liked this book if it was more of a slow burn romance. Like they kind of jumped into it like fast. Like even though it was a one night stand, they jumped into like the relationship aspect kind of fast for me. But it's fine. Wasn't horrible. Gave this book 3 stars. The next book I read is called Next of Kin, and this is the same author who wrote Out on a Limb. So this book was cute. It was roommates to lovers, found family, single mom, single dad, forced proximity. Like those are the tropes. And I put quotes because, let me say the plot. It's about Chloe, who's trying to get custody of her sister, hence the quotes, and Warren, who's trying to get custody of his brother, hence the quotes. So like they're not the biological parents, but their parents and their siblings. So yeah. So they both want custody, but they both don't meet like the criteria for CPS. So in order for them to meet it, CPS has like a new program, and now they have to live with each other because living with each other helps them meet the criteria to get their siblings. So yeah, this was different. This was a different like book for me, like the whole storyline. But it was cute. I really liked it. And his brother was deaf. So like that representation, and then you find out her, what's her name? Chloe's adoptive parents. He's deaf, so she knows how to communicate with the brother, and that part was cute. Like, the whole adopted sibling storyline was cute, but the romance part, it needed work. So it was a romance between Chloe and Warren, and I don't know, I wasn't feeling it, because, more so because of Warren, he, like, had these moods and switched up, like, all throughout the book. He was like, I don't want your help, you stay on your side, I'll stay on your side, and he's, like, so into her. So, the book needed, like, more relationship development. I'll say that. Like, I needed to see their relationship some more. And her adoptive parents was something else. Like, they were so rude and mad about the fact that she wanted to adopt her sister and not have her sister in foster care like she was. Like, so they were nasty for that. But overall, I really did like this book. It was cute. I gave it 3 stars. The next book I read is called I Need You to Hate Me, and this was a Wattpad book. I remember reading it back on Wattpad, and now it's published. So it's about Kala and Ace, 2 young, and her name might be Kala, something like that. But they're 2 young college adults who are roommates, and first they didn't like each other, but then they end up loving each other, and then not so much on her end because of what he did that resulted in her mom's death. So, you know it's a Wattpad book when the writing's a little cringy. So, the writing was cringy, and the ending was a cliche, but it had potential, and it brought back so many Wattpad memories for me. So, like, I think I'm going to read the next book. And I give this 2.5 stars because I really like the whole Wattpad nostalgia thing. Okay, the next book I read is called Before I Let Go by Kennedy Ryan. And this has been on my TBR book list for so long. And I finally read it. And oh my gosh, I'm so mad I waited so long to read it, because this book was like, it was a beautiful, messy, realistic love story, and like, I loved it. I knew I was gonna love it from the beginning, and I did. It's about, it's a second chance romance. It's about Josiah and, what's her name, Yasmin. They're a divorced couple who have 2 kids in a restaurant together, and they're still clearly in love. So, oh my gosh, I don't know. This book, it was so emotional. Like, they went through a lot. My girl Yasmin went through a lot. And it was, like, a lot of heavy topics. Like, grief, their messy divorce, her being depressed. And, I don't know. Like, they divorced even though they were still so in love. But because she was, like, so depressed, they had to. But in the end, they love was everything, and they got back together, and I just loved it. I was stressed out reading this book, though, because, she had went on a date with someone else, and then he was seeing someone else, and I was just like, oh, go away, you side characters. The love story is already here. They just need to figure it out. So, like, I don't know. I wasn't into that whole, let's date other people. No. Get back together. Hurry and get back together. Like I said, this book was beautiful and heartbreaking all at the same time, because of the heavy topics. And I did not like the daughter. I hated the daughter. She was so mean to her mom. Like, I wanted to slap the daughter. The daughter needed to get slapped. Like, the way she talked to and about Yasmin, a mess. She was, like, out of pocket. But I don't think she, like, understood, like, what Yasmin was really going through after, like, losing the baby. So, I will say that she probably didn't fully understand it. I think she was, like, 13 or 14, but she was so out of pocket. But in the end, their family was fine and a beautiful mess. I gave this book 5 stars because I really love this book. Like, even though I don't relate to this book at all, it was beautiful. Like, the writing was beautiful. Beautiful. The writing was beautiful. The story was beautiful, and I really enjoyed it. Like, even though it was like a lot of heavy topics, it was really good. The next book I read is called Love on a Brain by Ali Hazelwood. It's another science STEM romance, and love it, love it, love it. This might be my favorite book by her. I need to finish, like, I think I got 2 more books to read by her, but this one is leading the race. Okay, so it's about, what's her name? B, who gets a project with NASA, and so she's going to be working with Levi, her old college nemesis from grad school. So, like, she thinks he hates her. Everyone else in grad school thought he hates her, but really, he's just really awkward. He's in love with her, which is why, like, his interaction towards her are, like, so awkward. So, that was that. And I thought that was cute, because I was like, oh, you thought he was, like, being mean, but he's really in love with you and don't know how to act around you. So, I was like, oh, that's so sweet. So, I love B. She was a funny character. Like, she was quirky. And Levi, he was just, like, a dream man. Like, you have to, like, read it to understand, but he was just so sweet, so hopelessly in love with her, and it was just so cute. Like, I want that. And then on top of that, the storyline was interesting. Like, I was not expecting the climax. Like, honestly, it took me by surprise. Finding out who the bad guy was, and there was a gun. I was like, wait, what is going on? It was a lot, but it was so good and so surprising. So, yeah, it was a really, really good story. I'll say that, and giving this 4.5 stars. Okay, the next book I read, I'm so excited to be talking about this book. It's called Divine Rivals. This is my favorite book of the month. It's not my favorite book I read so far this year because it was Fourth Wing. But this might be my second favorite book I read so far this year. It was that good. Like, everyone was talking about this book, hyping this book up. And, you know, sometimes you gotta be skeptical about, like, the really overhyped books. But this book deserves all the hype. It was so good. Like, I wasn't disappointed at all. I give this book 5 stars. It's rivals to lovers, pen pals, and a fantasy romance. It's about Iris and Roman. First of all, love those names. Okay, so they're competing for the columnist job at some newspaper. Yeah, and there's, like, a whole magical war going on between the gods. So, you're dealing with their writing drama and then the war drama. So then he ends up getting a position, and she quits, and then to go report for to go write about the war. So she, like, gets close to the war, and it's all dangerous over there. And he follows her because he's in love with her. And that part was cute. But the cutest part was the whole pen pal thing, because they had these magical typewriters, and like they end up being pen pals with each other, and that was so cute. Like, it was only 3 of those typewriters ever made, and they had one each. So, like, how cute and rare is that? And so that was like my favorite part, honestly. And then I love the characters. I really liked Iris more though. Like, she has my heart. What else? It's like so much to say about this book, but I don't want to say too much. I love their relationship, like how they went from the rivals to being all in love. I love that development, and like I said, I love the pen pal aspect so much. Everything about this book was just so well done, and like the writing, the plot, the subplots, the characters, the whole war, and the romance. It was honestly perfect. And the cliffhanger. I'm not okay. I'm still not okay. I think the next book comes out in November. So, like, I need that book ASAP, because the cliffhanger, I am not okay. I need to know what happens next. Like, honestly, it reminds me how I felt about the Fourth Wing cliffhanger. Kind of. This one's like more, I don't know. This is more heartbreaking because this is happening to the main character. It's just a lot. But it was really good. I loved everything about this book. And like I said, 5 stars. Favorite book of the month. If you don't read a book I read on this list, just make sure you read that one. Divine Rivals is amazing. Okay, the last book I read is called Desire in His Blood, and this book is Marriage and Convenience, science fiction romance, and enemies to lovers. Like, I put the quotes because it's really a one-sided beef. Like, she doesn't know anything about the beef. So, there's that. But I was really surprised about how much I like this book. Yeah, so it's about Gemma. She's a human, and she agrees to marry this rich man named Azor. I love that name, by the way. And he's an alien/vampire, and she agrees to marry him because her father got her family into this crazy amount of debt with his gambling. So, yeah, and he, like, pays off the debt, but really he has ulterior motive because, like I said, he has one-sided beef, not with her, but with the father. So yeah, he's an alien vampire, and that's so different from me. I was like, wait, what? So I would like that part. And alien vampire, like, they're in space. Like, I think this is my first book like that. Yeah, vampire in space. That's the first. So I really liked that aspect because it was new and different, and I liked how their relationship progressed because, like, he didn't want to like her at first, but then they turned out to be blood mates, which is like soulmates in his vampire alien world. So now they're like obsessed with each other because of that, and the tension between them was everything. And what else? The world, like the world building, like how they described everything in the book. I really liked that. That was amazing. I liked the plot and the romance. I really liked the romance between them. Like, even though he's like trying to fight it, he could not. And this is gonna sound so weird, but I like the whole blood second thing. Like, I was like, wow, that's hot. I want this was my thought process. I was like, that's so hot. I want Klaus I want Klaus Michelson to suck my blood. Like, that's how obsessed with vampires I was. Like, bleed me dry, Klaus Michelson. Like, that's all I was thinking as I was like reading some of those parts. I was like, wow, that's hot. I want that. But aside from that, the book was like, it was really good. The plot, the romance, I really liked it, and I gave it 4 stars. Okay, I'm finally done with my August reads. Now I can focus on the books I'm reading in September. I already read like 6 books so far, and can't wait to read even more. So thank you so much for watching, and see you next time. Bye.